This is chapter 5 of AP Psychology on states of consciousness. So, the first concept that you need to know is dualism and monism. Dualism states that you have both thoughts and matter, and your thoughts are your free will. And on the other hand, monism is when everything is only substance. So, your thoughts stop when your body stops. The mirror exposure effects says that you prefer old stimuli over novel stimuli, even if you don't consciously remember. Priming is known as the fact that you respond more quickly to questions that you have seen before. So if you have seen a question on a test that you have seen in practice, you will respond to it more quickly. Blindsight describes a phenomenon in which blind people can describe the path of a moving object without seeing them. So, this suggests that there's something in the subconscious level that enables blind people to trace a moving object. And this suggests what's called the levels of consciousness. Conscious level is the thing that you're paying attention to right now. So, if you're currently studying psychology, psychology is on your conscious level. Your non conscious level is something that you're not aware of, for example, your heartbeat. Your preconscious level is something that you're not currently thinking about, but you could be. So, if I ask you a question, you could think about it and then give me an answer. The answer that you give me is not, it's in the back of your mind, but you're not currently consciously aware of. Your subconscious level means the mere exposure effect. So you're not consciously aware, but we know must exist due to behavior. So mere exposure effect and priming falls under this category. So we don't know that we respond quicker to old stimuli, but it's still there. Unconscious level is something that we're not currently aware of or something that's repressed.
On another note, our body follows a circadian rhythm. As you can see, it's our sleeping pattern, which goes up and then down and back up again.
And the way we study sleep is through EEG. And EEG basically shows us waves at different stage. So sleep onset. So during sleep onset, you're falling asleep, so you're between wake and asleep, and your brain produces alpha waves. When you're awake, your brain produces theta waves. So stage 2. Stage 2, your brain produces what's called sleep spindles, which are short bursts of rapid brain movement. And interestingly, sleep is actually classified as conscious. So when you're sleeping, you're actually conscious. And you can kind of see it through stage 2 when you have short bursts of rapid brain movement. Okay, and then stage 3 and 4 is called delta sleep. So this stage is slower waves because you're deeper into your sleep. It's really hard to wake someone up who's in stage 3 and 4. During this stage, your body replenish body's chemical supplies and secretes hormones for growth. And if you increase exercise, you actually increase the time that you spend on stage 3 and 4. So after you've gone to stage 3 and 4, which is right here, you go back up in the order of 3, 2, 1. And then once you reach the top, you go through a period of REM. REM is the short form for rapid eye movement. During this stage, during this stage, your brain waves are intense. This is the closest you'll get to being actually awake. Dreams are more likely to occur during this stage. And if you have more stress in the day, you'll have more REM sleep. Insomnia is problems getting to sleep or staying asleep. Some advice to treat insomnia includes decrease in caffeine intake, exercise, sleeping pills, but with caution. Narcolepsy is a sleeping disorder that describes someone who has periods of intense sleepiness. So they will just fall asleep when giving a presentation, for example. This is treated oftentimes with medication. Sleep apnea is when there's shortness of breath during the night, so you will wake up suddenly and gasp for air. This could be fatal and it oftentimes interferes with attention and memory. Could be treated with respiration machine. Night terror is when you suddenly wake up and start moving. This is often happens in children. Dreams. You have lucid dreams, which are dreams that you're aware of dreaming. So this happens during REM. Freudian psychologists oftentimes analyze dreams. So Freudian psychologists believe that during your sleep you have the manifest content and you have the latent content. Manifest content is the literal content of your dream. And then your latent content is the hidden message or the unconscious meaning of your dream. So moving on to activation and synthesis theory. Activation synthesis theory is another theory to explain why dreams occur. So activation synthesis theory says that dreams happen because of biological phenomena. So you know that your brain is active during REM. So your dreams are a way for your brain to interpret what is happening physiologically during REM. And then information processing theory basically says that your brain is dealing with stress and information during the day. Because many people often report dreaming about what they think during the day. There are different types of hypnosis theories. For example, or it's different things that could happen. For example, firstly is your post-hypnotic amnesia. This is when people report forgetting events while they're hypnotized. And then Post-hypnotic suggestion is when you behave in a certain way after you're hypnotized. Behave differently. And then role theory says that some people are more easily hypnotized than others, a characteristic called hypnotic suggestibility. If you have high hypnotic suggestibility, this means that you live a richer fantasy lives, follow direction well, and focus intensely. So how well you accept being hypnotized suggests something about your role, which is called hypnotic suggestibility. And then state theory says that when you're hypnotized, it's an altered state of consciousness. So it's basically switching from your daytime consciousness to a hypnotized consciousness. And then dissociation theory is a theory stating that we divide our consciousness voluntarily. So one level responds to hypnotist and the other part is aware of reality. And this is an experiment that is done if a patient has his or her hand in ice while being hypnotized, and they're asked to lift finger when felt pain. The person usually don't lift their finger because they are not aware of that other state of consciousness because they're dissociated. There are different types of drugs, we call drugs, but they're mainly in two types. You have agonist and antagonist. Agonist is the type of drugs that mimics your receptor sites. And your antagonists are drugs that block your neurotransmitters from your receptor sites. So one is mimic and one is block. There are 4 major types of psychotic drugs. Firstly, you have stimulants. Stimulants' main effects are increased body pressure, a body process, sense of euphoria, increased heart rate, aroused autonomic nervous system. An example of this includes caffeine. Depressants are a type of drugs that slow down reaction in your judgment, for example, alcohol. Hallucinogens are things that changes your perception of reality, for example, marijuana. And then lastly, opiates are things that agonists for endorphins. So for example, painkillers or mood elevators, and this includes something like morphine.